one. Yeah, boy. All that for 4 wins, huh?
I'm not here to talk to you. I'm here to talk to our people, our audience. Uh, I am not conversing with you today.
Oh,
I
yes,
am
you
just
are.
talking to them. So, welcome to this misfortunate Monday at the Legends Clubhouse. I am Bobby Kaboose. As always, with that stupid ass jersey on, is Lawson Turner. What's going on, man? How was your weekend? And don't say it was fantastic.
It was super marvelous. I don't even know if I've ever put super and marvelous in the exact same sentence, but it was amazing. It was fucking amazing. The I wish that it would have had a heart rate monitor on, cause that game last night. First of all, would it be a Steelers Ravens game without some fugaziness going on, just a little bit, just a little bit?
I need to write a letter to the NFL because dude, it's fucking bullshit that you have bullshit teams like the Steelers making the playoffs. You have bullshit teams like the Panthers making the playoffs. You have bullshit things like, we don't get to see Taylor Swift in the playoffs. It's fucking bullshit that we're not biting kneecaps with the Lions in the playoffs. It's fucking bullshit that Chicago Bears are in the playoffs. Hey, the Lions are 2-0 against Ben Johnson and those bitch ass Bears. So I got to write a letter, to expand the playoffs to I think 30 teams. And we'll keep the Browns and the Jets out of the playoffs every year, but the rest of us should be able to make it. Um, I hate your Steelers. Dude, I'm watching the game last night and they're lining up for this last second field goal, and I was just like, I had a feeling, I'm like, he's gonna miss this, and you know, wide right,
Why?
wide back to the right, um,
Wide right. Um,
wide right.
I, I'll give you a little bit of a tidbit before this, and I don't know if you saw this. So on social media before the game was going on, I don't know if they talked about it in like the pregame, but I seen on Twitter, saw, on X, that Steelers breaking out all the stops, and I was like, what? So I clicked the video. They had a priest splashing holy water and like blessing the end zone, and apparently that end zone that he was splashing holy water on was the end zone like way they were kicking, and
Are you sure it was an AI?
yeah, I'm sure there was an AI because I saw about four other angles of fans in the crowd like, are they really blessing the grounds? But dude, that last from a nip and tuck, don't give an inch for the first 6 minutes, and then four touchdowns in the last 4 minutes, like it was. That's a way to end the regular season, and the fact that it went from one of the most I understand that I'm probably one of the more understanding fans when it comes to theory. I understand in theory going for the touchdown before half. I don't understand a fake tight end jet sweep, flip it backside, and it just gets blown up for nothing. And I'm like, oh, well, there goes 3 points minimum. And because I don't know if you saw all the different angles, because I don't know how much you just seen Steelers Ravens Twitter going back and forth. It's amazing. Um, Calvin Austin on that go ahead touchdown, the DB planning with both legs to turn and slip,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody was like, "Oh my God, Calvin Austin had him on all fours," and I'm like, "That's ridiculous." But when Boz kicked that extra point, and right when it went off, right when ball got snapped, I thought the Ravens got a great jump and they almost got a hand on it, but it went straight in, whoop. And you can ask the people I was watching the game with. Right when it was halfway straight down the middle, I said, "Oh damn!" And then whoop, and then I'm talking and I'm just in disbelief because I'm like, Aaron Rodgers with helmet communication problems. Because I don't know if you noticed that they tried 2 other fucking helmets. No, he couldn't hear anything. He's barking at the sideline. We used all our timeouts. So then, 2 busted coverages later, we need a go-ahead touchdown drive. And right after we missed the extra point, I was like, you can't kick this deep. You can't kick this deep and put them on the 35. You have to make them earn it. And then when I think it was Keaton Mitchell, or Ollie, their other running back, he fielded it, and I was like, all right, good feeling team, and returns it to like the 40. And I'm like, we lost. Just the air and the emotion got sucked out. No, nothing left. And then Lamar hits. I don't remember if it was Zay Flowers or Mark Andrews in the flat to pick up about 7, and then they pick up another 7. But illegal formation, moving back 5, and then that 4th and 1, right when Baltimore calls timeout, I'm standing up. I'm hype. I'm like, dog, this is the number 1 paid defense in the league. I need 1 stop. I know it's a yard, and I know it's tough, but I need 1 stop. And then Lamar throws the over route to Isaiah Likely, and J Ram mistimed his jump. I see a lot of Steelers fans online saying if that's Minka, that ball's incomplete. And I'm like, well, you're playing, someone who had, a great, time, and we saw nothing but explosive plays from Minka Fitzpatrick. So you're kind of playing, well, if it would have been him and not made this trade to XYZ, this, that, and the other. When Isaiah Likely caught that ball, my immediate thought was, it's over. Tyler Loop had missed 2 or 3. I don't remember. It might have been 3. He missed 3 field goals all year, all from 55 plus. So within 55, he's been damn near automatic. But he's a rookie, and don't put players in situations they've never been in before, because you don't know how they're gonna act. And I'm not saying that he's gonna never make a 44-yard field goal again, but that was a moment where you kick, the kick's good, and you win the AFC North, and you host a playoff game. Instead, wide right, and you're going home.
The NFL's rigged.
That's it. Just it's rigged.
Yeah. No, dude, it's like, oh, Aaron Rodgers was having difficulty hearing. This is WWE, dude. Like, stop fucking making a storyline out of it. I guarantee his helmet was working. He's probably just old and needs a hearing aid. They need the dramatics. Yeah, let's miss an extra point so people think Baltimore's going to win, and then they march down the field, and for more dramatics, they have a rookie kicker. Oh my God, he's got ice in his veins. Whoops! He writes it, and let's get Aaron Rodgers into the playoffs. Mike Tomlin can't have a losing record. Just it's all phooey.
It's all fooey.
Yeah.
I was I know your game for the Lions didn't really mean much other than like
Dude, it
drafting
meant
spot,
a
but
ton.
I
It
mean
meant a
for
ton.
heart.
It meant a ton because I will tell you, because the Minnesota Vikings took care of business against the Packers yesterday, so we could go out there, whoop Ben Johnson's ass for the second time this year, beat the Chicago Bears, go 2-4 in the division, but guess what? We're 2-0 against the division leader. And
Nice.
and most importantly,
Yeah.
we did drop 2 spots in the draft. Who fucking cares? But we get that 4th place schedule.
I, I think I read somewhere that it's only like the second or third time ever that every team in a division has finished with a winning record. And
Yeah, and
for as
and
much
that the Lions should be in the playoffs over the Steelers, and they should just put them in the AFC for the playoffs. Bam.
I saw someone
NFL fixed right there.
I saw someone, and I wish I could give credit because I don't remember, where the idea sprouted from, where like you can make a division winner because you have Carolina and or Tampa, whoever was going to win the division would had a losing record. If
Hmm.
you have a losing record, you can make the playoffs, but you can't get a home game. And I'm like, well, that kind of eliminates the division aspect of it, because
Right.
the division is your automatic bid.
It's similar to last year where the Lions and Vikings were both 15-2,
Hmm.
and the Vikings didn't get the second seed. And it's like, okay, do you seed these teams by record, or do you have your, number one overall seed and then your division leaders and then your wild card? I
Hmm.
think it's set up correctly, man. Like
Yeah.
it's a rarity. I mean, when was the last time we had a team with a losing record in the playoffs? I think it was Seattle again, and then everyone was counting them out, and they upset the Saints the first round with beast mode.
Hmm.
So it's it's not going to happen every year. Maybe once a decade or something. We can't help that the AFC, or I'm sorry, NFC South is trash, but someone's got to come out of it, right? So
Yeah.
if you don't have the division leaders, have the home games, then why have division leaders even make the playoffs? You should just go by record anyway and just have two conferences.
Right.
So, it is what it is. It's a rare occurrence. I'm not
Yeah.
blowing a
It's.
gas. But
Hmm. I like if they were to change any of the playoff format, I would be like, then just get rid of divisions then, because there's almost
yeah,
no point. Because that's where whenever I look at my team individually, I'm like, okay, I'm going to see where do I stack in the division. Because if you win the
mm,
division, it doesn't matter. If you win the
right,
division, automatic bid. It's when you're second or third in your division, and you're fighting for a wild card spot. But with you guys beating the Bears, I was really disappointed in Philly because Nick Sirianni already made up his mind to, all right, I'm gonna play Devontae Smith so he can get 1,000 yards, and then
hmm
we're not playing starters. But it's a big deal going from playing what's left of the Packers to the Niners.
yeah,
Like, I understand the Niners defense is beat up and has not looked good in the past 3 weeks, but I just that offense is hot as fire. And for better lack of terms, Green Bay is kind of on a slow free fall ever since Micah Parsons' injury. So I just think if Philly gets nicked in the first round, and I think there's if Trent Williams and Ricky Pierce all play, I think that's a very strong possibility that they get nicked early.
right. And we've talked about, or at least I've ranted about, the amount of games in the regular season. Um,
Hmm.
when week 18 rolls around and there's literally what, 3 of 16 games that mean anything,
Hmm.
you start to sit your starters, and we've seen it in the past, especially like look at the old Colts teams with Peyton Manning, where they wrap up the number one seed or number two seed or whatever early, they sit their starters, then they come in back in the playoffs after maybe a first round bye, and they're rusty as hell, and they end up losing the first game.
Hmm.
I think, like I said, I for the NFL, I've always thought less is more. Whether it's the days and game schedule or the amount of games or whatever, because once you start getting in that position where you are sitting guys, um, you know, you'll see teams, usually teams off a bye week are fine, during the regular season because they just need the rest.
Right.
But when it comes to playoffs, like you don't want a week off or a couple weeks off in between games because the other team did not have that, and they are in focus mode. They are prepared. Not to say that the teams with the bye aren't, but you get a little, you go on vacation for a few days, you get your mind off of football, and it might be back. It might be difficult to come back with that competitive mindset after a couple weeks off, and they usually start off slow, and so we'll see. I mean, there's a reason why for football, especially since it's a one game elimination, it's not like it's a 7 game series. Teams that get hot towards the end. Look, I mean, look at the 9-7 Giants that won the Super Bowl, and like all these wild card teams that have to fight their way into the playoffs, fight all the way to the end. So,
Hmm.
it should be interesting. The playoffs start Saturday. Probably. uh, probably the worst weekend of playoff football because it seems like since they expanded to 7 teams, like it seems like there's like the first weekend is a bunch of blowouts. Am I wrong?
Um, I mean, I think the 7 seed is like over, which rightfully so. You're playing the 2 seed, which in theory is the second best team in the conference. But for me, the fact of the matter is that it's playoff football, and I mean I think there's a lot of sneaky, really good matchups. This weekend in particular, like we can go down the rabbit's hole, if you will. Saturday, the first game is the Lamb. I said the Lambs, the Rams and the
Lamb.
Panthers, the Los Angeles Rams,
Yeah, the
who
Los Angeles Lambs
I mean
and
they've been playing like lambs the past month. I don't know
and the
that
Panthers of Carolina. Well,
hmm
I'm kind of expecting a blowout in this
yeah.
game with the Rams, blowing out the 5'6" Bryce Young. I'm not even sure if Bryce Young can get on all the rides at like, Disney World
hmm
or Cedar Point or, name your amusement park. But the I like to see I like to see the Panthers improve. A couple of years ago, Bryce Young uh, was questioned if he was going to be a bust, especially with the immediate success of C.J. Stroud, who now is kind of coming down to reality, I think, a little bit.
hmm
But with that Texans defense, they have. We'll get into that game too, but they'll have an opportunity. But the Panthers, I don't think they have any shot in this game. The Rams, up until like a week or two ago, Stafford was probably the leading candidate for MVP, which I can't believe that came out of my mouth. But the Rams offense is rolling. Their defense is good. I just think it's going to be too much for Carolina, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were double-digit favorites.
They are double-digit favorites. It's at 10.5, which
Yeah, I kind of expected.
10.5 is a lot for a road playoff dog. I said dog, a road playoff team. I understand that Carolina got him in the regular season about a month ago. I think that to get out of the way, I think the Rams do win. The only way I could see Carolina giving them any kind of issues is if what happened in their regular season game happened again, where Stafford turns the ball over 2-3 times, and one being a pick six that immediately it's not like it was an interception and then the Panthers drove all the way down the field. Like you're almost scoop feeding these teams points,
Yeah.
and even then they still had a chance to go down the field and score, but Stafford fumbled the ball.
I think Carolina would have a better shot at this game if they hadn't won that first game.
Yeah, because now the Rams are kind of. I think they're more. Their attention to detail is hyper focused because of how. I just feel like they've lost their mojo. Like they were dominating Seattle in Seattle, and then they allow a punt return, a roaring comeback, and then they're down 21-0 on the road against Atlanta. Now Atlanta did end the year on a nice 4-game win streak, but it's the Falcons.
Right.
So
It's
it's
Cousins
huh?
and the Falcons. It's Kirk Cousins and the Falcons.
It is Kirk Cousins and the Falcons and Bijan and the Falcons. But like it to me, Carolina, they're a great story. It's great to see the resurgence of Bryce Young. Tedero McMillan's awesome. Dave Canales and Bryce Young. They play a really, I don't know how much Panther football you've
I don't watch much Panther football. If I'm
died.
watching Panther football, it would be the Michigan Panthers in the whatever league that it's called now, the UFL or whatever.
Nice, very
I don't even know if
nice.
they. I don't even know if their team's coming back.
Yeah, though, but their offense is really um short, no pun intended with Bryce Young, but it's like they don't take a lot of deep shots. I think they were bottom third in the league in explosive plays. I mean, they'll hit their occasional big shot, but it's not something that they're drawing up. Tet your one on one, just go cook your guy, which I
Yeah,
think could lead to a lot of Because if you're not generating big plays against the Rams, because they do have a very strong defense, their DBs are a little suspect.
Yeah, Bryce Young is he's really lucked out that they don't have Aaron Donald anymore because I think if Aaron Donald was still on that defense, he'd be looking like Kyler Murray in that playoff game a few years ago, where
Mm-hmm.
Kyler Murray looked like an elementary school student who had just been able to start riding his bike to school, and he, may have crossed over some teenagers, or he was trick or treating and some teenagers wanted his candy. So. Yeah, he would look, that might be the case if Aaron Donald was playing. But if they can keep that offense off the field and they can have some sustained, uh, you know, 5 to 10 minute drives, I think
Mm-hmm.
they have a chance. Otherwise, I think this is going to be the blowout of the weekend. I'm thinking like 38-10. Um, just the Rams. Like I said, if they wouldn't have lost that first matchup against them, they might be coming in. Looking a week ahead, and the Panthers could possibly pull up an upset. But this week, I think the Rams are going to right the ship and
Mm-hmm.
you know take the Panthers out back and put
Dang
them
it.
down. So, but the matchup that I'm looking forward to is the Bears and Packers. I believe that's
Round
Saturday
three.
night, round
Mm-hmm.
3 in Chicago. I'm sure it'll be shitty weather. Let me so Chicago usually has so that's Saturday night. They usually have um, what we're gonna get Sunday. We're usually like we get what so it doesn't look like it looks like for us it's gonna be cloudy and like 34. So hopefully we get some elements in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it's a little and we either get some rain or snow or something.
I,
But like you said, the Packers aren't the same team without Micah Parsons.
mm-hmm.
Um, Jordan Love's been banged up. Um, and we'll see Ben Johnson in the playoffs for the first time.
It's gonna be
Not ever.
it's gonna be really interesting when it in terms of like first time head coach in the playoffs. Caleb Williams, extremely talented, first time in the playoffs. It is the I remember when youth used to be like a deterrence for playoff as why you wouldn't pick playoff teams. Like, oh well, they're so young, they're inexperienced, XYZ things like that. I think you can also you find as a strength where I don't know,
Yeah,
so I don't know
I'm
how
gonna
it's
go. I'm just gonna go play.
right, which I think that can be a massive benefit to, I mean, the Packers team, can play. Oh well, no one's believing in us. Well, this is the third time you guys are played. I think according to most sports books, it's a pick 'em. I think the spread's 1.5. So it's kind of just go out there and let the dice fall where they may. It's it would be a damn near historic loss if Green Bay were to somehow upset Chicago in Chicago because they have the best, damn near the best offensive season ever. They show all this promise, and it's just to lose in heartbreaking fashion to the Green Bay Packers, a
Yeah,
divisional rival in your place.
I mean it's probably the biggest rival in football, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Bears and Packers, and like you said, like it would be devastating for the Bears to lose this game. I think the Bears win,
Mm-hmm.
just because I think I don't think the Packers have been right for about a month, um, even though I think they probably beat the Lions in that month, but I don't care, whatever. Anyway, I think the Bears get their playoff victory. Caleb is shown flashes of being a very good quarterback. Uh, didn't get 4,000 yards. He fell short. Still no franchise 4,000 yard thrower in Chicago, which is crazy to think. But like you think about it too, like okay, it's the Windy City. They play outside. There's probably been so many games played at that stadium or so. I don't even know where they play it right now, but that or Soldier Field or
Yeah.
whatever, where there was probably such big gusts of wind that like you just can't throw the ball for that day, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming that's the reason why they don't have a 4,000 yard passer. But I think Caleb will eventually get there. He'll
Mhm.
become the first. I just don't like how he paints his nails.
He
That
did
bothers me.
he did set the Bears' single season passing yards record, but still just wasn't.
Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
assume that because he only needed like 270 for 4,000. So
Hmm.
if he's that close, I know he got like at least 200.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's gonna be really.
Oof.
It's almost like a black mark on a franchise. Like it's one of the things where it's I don't think it's anything, but it's notable. Like for a team that is especially in those mid 2000s, like you and early 2010s teams. Where you had, like Jay Cutler and Brandon
Mhm.
Marshall, and then even afterwards that Alshon Jeffrey, and you had a lot of big body receivers. But once again, it is Chicago, so there are probably just giant gusts of wind every now. I think wasn't it like I want to say it was in like the mid 2000s where it was like the windiest game ever, and every time quarterback would drop back to pass, or when they would show like kick ups and warm ups, like they would damn near fly out of the stadium. You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about?
it was the game where they kicked the field goal and it just went like fucking like
Yeah,
it basically hit the players on the bench.
literally, yeah. And
What the
so
hell?
I mean, when you're playing in those elements, it's kind of hard to scheme up wide open passes
Yeah,
because your receivers could be running scot free, but if the ball can't get there, the ball can't get there.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it should be a close game. I don't think either team will um pull away. Why am I yawning so much? I don't know. But I don't think either team will pull away.
Hmm.
I think it'll be probably the last possession wins the game
Yeah,
type thing. But I just hope to see some crazy elements, at least some wind, if not some snow or rain.
snow would be amazing.
I know, just like a blizzard. Like give me a good old blizzard game.
I remember a couple years ago when the Bills beat the hell out of my team in the playoffs. The game was supposed to be like the Monday night game, but it got delayed to Wednesday because of snow. And I'm like, this is the first time in NFL history I've ever seen a game delayed because of snow. I don't know if you remember that, but the Bills were actually they were putting out stuff on social media like, oh, if you're in the area, come to the stadium. We'll give you a shovel, pay you $20 an hour, and feed you. Just come help us shovel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are we dead ass that my playoff game is getting? Now, granted, did I think we are gonna win regardless? No, it would have been an uphill battle, regardless. But playing in the elements, anything can happen. And I'm like, I don't give a damn if there's 3 feet of snow. Even the day of the game when it got delayed to like Wednesday, they had a no like seat no like assigned seating for your ticket. It was just show up and wherever you could sit. There were pictures of people with 8 feet of snow in their seat and they would just plump on the snow. And I'm like, this is the first game I've ever seen where I have my ticket for the nosebleeds. Oh, find wherever you can fucking sit. And it's like, I dude, I'm about to go all the way down there, damn near on the field.
Yeah, man, I'm about to make an igloo on the field and just sit inside.
Dude, for real. It just, I don't know. I NFL games, unless there's lightning, I don't give a damn what weather it is. Go play. Go
Or
play.
someone dies,
Or someone dies. There's your exception. Huh?
and they have to revive them. Um,
Yeah.
what's the Sunday games looking like?
Here is where I'm excited. The opening game at 1 p.m. Eastern. It's the Buffalo Bills heading to Jacksonville. That game will be a damn shootout. I am so excited for it. On one side, you have Sunshine and the Jags, and they've been one of the hottest teams in the NFL. And no, it's funny because the national media hasn't like talked about them as serious Super Bowl contenders, even though they beat the shit out of Denver, and they've been as previously mentioned one of the hottest teams in the NFL. However, on the other side, you got Josh Allen, and that's about it. But Josh Allen has the capabilities of going 3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns on any given Sunday. I think it's a bad matchup for Buffalo, but they have the best individual player on the field, so I can't count out Buffalo ever.
Dude, I can't believe that once Jacksonville got rid of a toxic player, I guess they went off. And do you know who that is?
Let me hear it.
Tank Bigsby. Tank Bigsby. As soon as they traded his ass to the Eagles, they started winning. And I don't know if there's any correlation because he didn't play much in Jacksonville and he was basically a return man in the Philly. But man, sunshine. Hopefully, I'm hoping that the Jacksonville Jaguars can upset the Buffalo Bills because I want this year, I want two teams that like no one expected to be in it. And Jacksonville is one of those teams. We have a year that we don't have Lamar Jackson, we don't have Patrick Mahomes, we don't need Josh Allen. It doesn't need to be his year. Even if he wins, if the Buffalo Bills win a Super Bowl this year, Josh Allen will still have the stigma of he can't beat either Lamar or Patrick in the playoffs, and his Super Bowl ring will have a huge asterisk. I hope when they engrave it, they just asterisk the shit out of it and they put Taylor Swift's name on it.
The it's really funny because I think Josh Allen is an all time great player, and we love seeing all time great players do all time great things, and be a made
But
man
in
per se with it.
the most overrated fucking hook and ladder ever. Oh, because it's
Exactly.
on Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football and it's in the snow. It was a 3-yard pass. Who fucking cares, dude? Oh, he improvised. Yeah, anyone that's ever played fucking backyard football would have done the same fucking thing.
I,
Like, that was the most overrated thing I've ever seen in my life.
and if you don't know what we're talking about, it's the Bills are playing the Niners last year on Sunday Night Football in the snow, and Josh Allen he passed it to, it might have been Amari Cooper, and he was wrapped up, but just pitched it back to Josh Allen, and Josh Allen Superman dove for
Yeah,
the
most overrated
touchdown.
play ever.
But yeah, I think, and another one in terms of betting odds and what they think is going to happen. I think Buffalo is actually a 1.5 favorite,
I
which
wouldn't be surprised about that.
I just,
Jacksonville doesn't get any respect.
huh?
And Jacksonville, Jacksonville, it's going to take time for them to actually get respect. And Buffalo, I think, is probably a better team, but Jacksonville just winning the division.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that I actually like Jacksonville on the spot. I just, it's there are just certain quarterbacks and players that you just can't rule out, and Josh Allen has the capabilities of just going Superman mode. But I do like Jacksonville, and I like Jacksonville on the spot. I think out of all the division leaders, Jacksonville was the worst. Is the worst matchup for Buffalo. Then after Buffalo at, because I think the game's at 1. Yeah, the game's at 1. The 4:30 game is one that we already semi talked about, and it's the Niners going to Philly. I think I like Philly in the spot. I think that they made their road a lot harder by not just playing their starters against Washington and playing the Packers in the first round. Because with Chicago losing, if the Eagles would have won and they were up 7 in the fourth quarter, you flip flop the two seeds. But I still like Philly. I think that Niners defense, yeah, they look good against Seattle. Yeah, they have had their moments, but like at a certain point, Robert Saleh is doing as much as he can with me and you out there. Like
yeah,
you lose Fred Warner, you lose Nick Bosa, and Trent Williams is up in the air, Ricky Pearsall's up in the air. You're just too banged up, and the Eagles have so much talent. Regardless of what you think of coaching, regardless or head coach or offensive play caller X, Y, Z, regardless of what you think of Jalen Hurts, and this, when you put as much talent on the field, good things happen.
yeah. I would go with San Francisco in this game.
Mm-hmm.
The reason being is I think the NFL did them a favor by putting them at the 4 o'clock game. If they're at the 1 o'clock game, I would say San Fran probably has no chance just
Yeah.
for the travel reasons. West Coast to East Coast is always hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
But with the NFL doing them kind of a favor and it's 1 o'clock of their time, I think the 49ers, they are in the toughest division in football, and to be able to survive their schedule. I think Philly is Philly's kind of taking a step back this year. Um, I think the NFL itself, knowing that Mahomes and Lamar Jackson are out, like not that Lamar Jackson wins Super Bowls, but those two are the most high profile quarterbacks with Josh Allen. I think they're gonna get I think the NFL wants Philly out early. I think they want two teams that have not been there in a while or have never been there or whatever. I think they want just two new faces of the NFL in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm going San Francisco. Um, Brock Purdy's playing well. I don't pay attention to much 49er football, but uh, when you got CMC and the Mr. Irrelevant, you always have a chance to win, I guess.
Yeah, I just think that if the Niners offense has the talent to keep up with Philly, but Philly's defense, whenever I'm like looking and previewing games, I look at like the strength of their teams and if they wash. So
Mhm.
it's like the the Eagles are a defensive team and the Niners are an offensive team. Let's call that a wash. Do I
Hmm.
trust Philly's offense, which has been, wee wooed all fucking year, or do I trust what's left of the Niners defense? And I just think
Yeah.
that, I think the Niners defense can get run on as we saw, Saturday night against the Seahawks, which will lead to, time control, and I think that eventually Brock Purdy is going to need to force the ball downfield and potentially make a mistake.
Yeah, I think the Niners coming off of that,
Yeah.
I think they locked down Saquon. Like I
Hmm.
think they focus on that, shut him down, make Hurts beat you, and
that is a good recipe that multiple many teams have used against
yeah.
the Eagles
So
in recent
I
years.
feel like that's gonna happen. I
Hmm.
just I have a feeling that San Francisco is gonna advance. What's is there a Sunday night?
There is a Sunday night. The New England Patriots as the 2 seed, which is still just
Yeah,
mind-boggling.
wild.
They're
That
hosting.
speaks volumes for Mike Vrabel, by the way. He, taking Tennessee as a number one seed with Ryan Tannehill, and now doing what he's doing with Drake May as a
Hmm.
second-year quarterback. You know,
It
it's pretty
it
impressive.
like I think their over under for wins was at like 7.5, 8.5, and it's like, oh, semi easy over. They made a lot of improvements, and I still
Mm,
think that they're a draft and a free agency away from being like they could
a
go on.
Super Bowl contender, like a
I,
real
I was
contender.
I was gonna say they could win the Super Bowl this year, and I would still be like, damn, this is the worst this team's ever gonna be.
Yeah,
Like whenever teams bring in new management and stuff like that, there's obviously the small like the buffer between the old regime and the new regime. But once again, if this is as bad as the roster's gonna be, like,
yeah.
damn, dude, next year might be ridiculous. They're hosting John Harbaugh and the my bad Jim, not John. And Jim Harbaugh, Mr. Khaki Pants, and the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah. Give me the Patriots.
You
They're
think
they're
so?
probably they're probably. I'm thinking they're probably favored by 4.5, 5.5, somewhere in there.
I will tell you right now, they are currently 3.5 point favorites.
Okay. Yeah, I I might take the points, but I think the Patriots win in a close game.
Yeah.
I just I don't know, man. There's something about the Chargers, like even dating back to like Philip Rivers or even before with Drew Brees and LaDainian Tomlinson, they just don't win them in the playoffs. Like,
Hmm.
they might get to an AFC championship here and there, but it just doesn't seem like they win. So like I'm just gonna go with the Patriots and
Hmm.
I think the Chargers are building something that could be something with Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert might be one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL. It's like I think we've talked about this prior. It's like I feel like Justin Herbert is like this mold of talent just pulsating and waiting to bust out, but someone's there and like they're trying to crack the code to open this thing up
Hmm.
and open up the safe that is Justin Herbert. And once that, like, I think he could be a 5,000 yard passer. I know Jim Harbaugh's a run first guy,
Yeah.
but like, I think Herbert's got the arm to, set records as far as single season stuff if he's unleashed.
Hmm.
Um, but until then. I think Mike Vrabel. I think his defensive schemes. I think his um, just coach. I think he can outcoach Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
I really do because Jim Harbaugh likes to pound the rock. Like I said, they're going to focus on stopping the run, but I don't see the Chargers winning. Again, going from West Coast to East Coast is always difficult.
Hmm.
Um, but the Patriots dynasty could be back.
Yeah. I like New England super close and extremely low scoring. Like j- both of these two teams, despite New England's high flying offense, I think they've played the third weakest schedule in NFL history, which is insane. Which
Yeah.
it goes back to the point that you brought up, where if a team is battle tested, like if you're just beating the shit out of everybody, I mean, New England played their starters, this past week just cause in case Denver would have lost, then New England would have overtook them for the 1 seed.
Mhm.
But I mean, I think they've beaten one playoff team one team that's currently in the
Yeah.
playoffs. I think one. And I like New England. I like what they're building. I think Drake May's a superstar who could turn into a potential face of the NFL. Given he has the name, the look, the brand, the team.
Mhm.
If they get postseason success, he'll have that. If he wins an MVP, he'll have individual success. My thing on this game in particular, and why I think it's going to be low scoring. Both these teams are I was gonna say cut from the Dan Campbell mode of bite kneecaps off, because
Mhm.
Jim Harbaugh loves and wants to play in low scoring, cold weather football, because all of Jim Harbaugh's teams are kind of the exact same. They hit, they run, they dominate other teams, physicality. And I believe that the only issue is we haven't seen Justin Herbert play one good playoff game. And I do
Yeah.
think it's capable, but you look last year, and I understand it was against a very mean Houston defense, but he went the entire year of like 1, 2 interceptions, and he threw 4 in the playoff game.
I would
And
love to see him and Trevor Lawrence in the AFC Championship. I mean, I think
that'd be
those two
great.
guys are like one in the same.
Hmm.
They're both like I said, they're both it's like they have this built-in talent and potential that just you know, hasn't been released to the world.
Hmm. And I really like them both. I think T Law's a little bit better. I do think, in terms of categories, I think they are in the same like stratosphere. I still, with all that being said, I'm still taking New England close and
Yeah.
and late.
Too, when you mentioned it earlier, when teams like this happened with the Lions last year, when teams are used to blowing teams out,
Hmm.
it when it comes to a close game, you find out a lot more about your team
Yeah.
because it's one thing to have control of the game, the entire game, and the other team just chasing. But when you're, blow for blow and the score is changing and you need to come up with a drive that, not that, obviously at some point in the game that you're blowing the team out, there were drives that matter, but you can play a lot more loose. If you're in a tight playoff game, it will tell you a lot about, especially your quarterback, to see what kind of poise he has.
Hmm.
If he's able to march down like yesterday with your Steelers, are they able to march down the field with 45 seconds left to kick a field goal? Are they able to make the right decisions? Are they about to, make sure that, time management and all that is there? It's easy to win, a 49-10 game when there's no pressure after the first half, but
Hmm.
when it's 13-10, and you have the ball and you're down by 3 with a minute 20 left with one timeout, like you'll see a lot, that's why, like, even if I'm a huge golf guy, right? But I haven't seen him with many game-winning drives with, less than 2 minutes left and we need a touchdown, or, I've seen, we need to get in field goal position. It's a whole nother ball game. But if you need a touchdown, there's only a couple, three, four guys in the league that you can count on that will get you in at least position to score a game-winning drive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know,
Yeah, and for the I think that's a great example about the Lions because when you're up double digits, damn near the entirety of a game, and I felt this way not to backtrack, but like when the Niners were getting mauled by Seattle, they just looked uncomfortable, and it's like, oh, so you guys are a modern day NBA team they're comfortable in playing it in the 120s, but when it's
yeah,
83-80 with 3 minutes to go, it's like I don't, if they're an offensive team, they're not built for that defense to stay on the field the
mhm,
entirety of the game. And more often than not, these playoff games, like you'll look down and it'll seem like, oh, we're at halftime and the game kicked off 10 minutes ago. Like
yeah,
like your possessions are limited. They are turnovers are almost not saying if you force turnover you automatically get points, but turnovers are worth double to where in a normal game you get what 5, 6 at most 7 possessions a game. That's probably
right.
going to go down 2. So I think that I like Herbert to make. This game will be determined by one turnover, and I think the Chargers make that turnover.
So are you? Oh, they. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay.
To commit the
Yeah,
turnover. My bad. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, they're
yeah,
not.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay, yeah. So yeah, it's
I like
is it? Are those the only 5 games?
there's one more, and that's
Should
the
be 6.
Steelers game.
And when's that? Monday night?
That is Monday night, and they're hosting the Texans. And it's really funky because we have this. I think we've gone like 23 straight home Monday night games without losing, but we haven't won a playoff game since 2016. So,
Someone's got to give.
dude, for real, and I don't know if my little heart can take it because right after the game, because entering the um entering the last week of the season, I knew the Chargers could not get all the way up to the 5. And I'm like, I would love to play the Chargers, even though they whooped our ass about 2 months ago on Sunday night. And I didn't want to see Buffalo because once again you got Josh Allen and James Cook, and they whooped our ass, on Sunday night a couple weeks or Sunday. I think we were the 4 o'clock game, might have been late night. I don't remember, but I mean, Houston's defense is mean, and they're bullies.
Yeah,
And when you look at Rodgers statistically against top 10 pass defenses, he's been bad this year.
yeah.
The only saving grace, and one of the big reasons why I did want to face this Houston team, I'm not a believer in Stroud. Like
Yeah.
I think he
Let me.
was.
Okay, I want you to. I gotta dip out for a minute. I want you to just talk about your Steelers and how what they bring to the table to win this game, and then I'll talk to you about the Texans when I get back.
All right,
I
sounds
will be
good.
right back. I just can't hold it anymore.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
You gotta go when you gotta
When
go.
you gotta go, you gotta go. My thing, when it comes to this game, in particularly between the Steelers and Texans, the the way the Steelers can win this game, you need to hit a couple deep balls to DK. Now they do have one of the best corners in Derek Stingley Jr. and their secondary is ridiculous. We know James Petrie, Lassiter. My thing that really hurts, and with DK coming back, reinforcements are on the way. This needs to be a physical game, and I believe that that's exactly what's going to happen. However, with Darnell Washington breaking his arm, and I feel as if last night we really saw the lack of having a 6'7", 320-pound tight end who could also play as an extra offensive lineman if need be. I think this game will probably end 13-10. That's my guess, and I think that if the Steelers squander this opportunity, it goes in the line of You know, all your big boogeymen will be out of the playoffs by round two. I think Josh Allen will be out by round two. There's no Lamar, who you've historically had success against. There's no Patrick Mahomes. The another saving grace is it's in Pittsburgh, and Houston's they're a dome warm weather team. And would I be shocked if the cold kind of gets to them a little bit? Maybe. Well, I wouldn't be shocked, but I could see the cold, being a factor. And I don't remember how many times Houston has been on the road in the playoffs and has looked as of themselves. I remember now. I understand this is completely two different teams, and I think this Texas team is better than the team I'm about to reference. I remember in 2016 when they beat the Raiders at home in the playoffs, and that was the year that they played. It might have been Brady Cook because Derek Carr broke his leg. And then they went to New England, and once again, New England then is better than the Steelers team now, and the Houston's team now is better than the Houston team back then. But it just the cold rattles these warm dome teams.
I agree, but defense travels. I think
100%.
defense travels into the cold. They have a young, fast defense. I think it's going to be too much for Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
I know Rodgers gets rid of the ball quick, but that Texans defense might be the best in the league.
It's mean.
And I don't think the Steelers offense, I don't think they're going to be able to put 20 points up on the board against this team. I think it could be a low scoring game. Before I took a little intermission, you mentioned CJ Stroud. I am not a believer of CJ Stroud either. He had a fantastic rookie season, but he's kind of either plateaued or digressed.
Yeah.
From then. It'll be interesting to see if I think it's a race to 20. Whoever gets to 20 points first will probably win this game.
Yeah.
And either team might not get to 20. It might be a 17-13 type game.
16-10, one of those just funky low scoring games. Yeah.
Yeah, especially, again, outdoor stadiums in the north in January. I'm hoping to see some weather. Let's go.
I don't know if you noticed during the game last night. One of my boys, he lives like an hour and a half away from Pittsburgh, and during the game, before the snap, you can see all of the players on the fields like breaths. I want to see that. That's what I want to see. I want to see my D line, and it's just a fog, like they just took a giant hit of a vapor wax pen, and the offensive line just that's what I want, and that's what I wanted.
I just want Snow Angels.
Snow Angels? Oh,
Snow Angels.
Once again, I haven't checked the forecast for Pittsburgh, but it is January, so there may be some snow. There's just I'm happy we're back in the playoffs. I say back like we weren't in last year, but we got ran all over by Derrick Henry. It's the first time we've hosted a playoff game since 2020, and we got destroyed by the Browns. Ha ha hee hee. But speaking of the Browns, and I
what
think
about that Tim Tebow pass?
That was in Denver.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I just wanted to bring it up because it was awesome. But as a Lions fan, we're in such unfamiliar territory because we're not in the playoffs, and we've been in the playoffs the last 2 years, and it's like okay, we're this great franchise, we're not in the dance.
Every year.
It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird that we don't have a top 10 pick and we're not in the playoffs. That's what's weird.
Yeah, it feels bad to be in purgatory in the middle, which
we're in the upside down.
You said what? You said you're in the upside down?
We're in the upside down. Yeah.
I remember a couple years ago, some of my friends are like, "Yo, Lawson, do you think the Steelers come in the Super Bowl?" I'm like, That's my problem. We're not good enough to win a Super Bowl. We're not bad enough to get a top 10 pick. So we're just middling every year,
Yeah.
and it's annoying because you need those. You need top 10 draft picks to build for the future, or you just be good enough to contend for a Super Bowl. And if you're in the in between,
Right, but can you build a case to get rid of Tomlin? I mean, you really can't.
I
Like, I mean, he's never
I
had a
don't
losing season.
I don't want him gone.
And then, if you can always play the game of, oh, we need someone to get us over this current hump, but then you're, losing out on probably one of the best coaches, in history.
Yeah,
So,
that's where me and a lot of Steelers fans we part ways because
yeah.
there's a big chunk that's fire Mike Tomlin, and then there's me thinking y'all are a bunch of idiots because
Yeah.
I know Steelers fans are not prepared to be top 5 pick ass. They're just not.
Right.
We've been spoiled for damn near the entirety of the franchise's existence. That because it's gonna happen. There's gonna be a time where we're just piss poor and bad, and the fans are just gonna boo. Huh?
Is there going to be a time though? Because I'm pretty sure they've only had 3 coaches in the last 50 years, and they're like the epitome of consistency.
I think there will be. My thing is, at a that's a good point. In the 70 years we had 3 coaches, which is ridiculous. But
Fuck out of here, dude.
at a certain point, I look around the league and I'm like, we can do a lot worse than Tomlin. So it could also be one of those, be happy you have it while you have it, because once it's gone, it's never going to be the
Yeah,
same.
go hire someone like Bobby Ross or Steve Mariucci or Wayne Fonts or Matt Patricia or Jim Schwartz or let me just keep going.
No, I'm
You
good.
know,
I'm good. Y'all can keep that. Yeah, but
yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but
Like,
the Falcons, Raiders, and Cardinals all fired their head coaches over the past 16 hours. Raheem Morris got
Raiders, Cardinals, and who?
huh?
Raiders, Cardinals, and who?
Falcons.
Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons fired Raheem Morris and their GM last night, and then with Pete Carroll and Jonathan Gannon getting laid off, this morning.
Their GM should have been Falcons GM should have been fucking fired on draft night.
Yeah,
Let's sign
after
Kirk Cousins to a huge contract and then draft a quarterback 8th overall.
mm,
I would have fired him after the first round. I mean, like, dude, get the fuck out of here. I'll make the picks. I don't
there's
know any of these. I'll make the picks. I'll just pick guys from Bama and Georgia.
there's a video of the GM and Arthur Blank in the draft room. He's trying to explain afterwards because there's some legendary Falcons fan reactions after they took Michael Penix, and it's just it hasn't looked good at all. I mean, there's been a couple flashes, but it's just you just paid Kirk Cousins a gazillion dollars, and then you're gonna take a quarterback in the top. And, we will right over my head, but to kind of wrap it up, and I know he's a division rival, but Myles Garrett breaking the sack record was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's pretty cool because he had an extra game. So, anyway,
I, I'm giving a little bit of praise to a player who's been historically compared to my player TJ Watt, and it's just yeah, it's not fucking cool. He had an extra game, and it's funny you said that because when they asked Michael Strahan on the Fox little post game show after he broke the record, Strahan was like, yeah, he's got it for a 17 game schedule, and I got it for a 16 game schedule.
Exactly. So it's not that cool. So anyway, thanks for joining us here on this Motivation Monday. Here in the Legends Clubhouse on New Leaf News' YouTube channel. Go hit that subscribe button. We are live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can't make it then check us out at YouTube channel. It'll be uploaded after. Go check us out at newleafnews.com/.network. Both of them take you to the same great site. We have daily content, whether it's sports, entertainment, music, horoscopes, murder shit, you name it, we got it. We're on 5 different social media platforms. We all know you guys got social media out there, so go hit us a follow over on Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Facebook, or TikTok, all at New Leaf News. Go check myself out at Bobby Caboose on Instagram, on X. That is at Lawson_1226 on both of those platforms as well. Hey, go check out my podcast at 64-Bit Legends. We dropped our first 64-bit Legend Rumble competitor today. A little bit of a swerve, but not only that, not only that,
Not
I don't know
only
what the phrase is, but not only then the legendary Cock Davis is the first entry into the Royal Rumble, or our 64-bit Legends Rumble. So go check that out at 64-bit Legends on Instagram and on X, and everywhere you can find your podcasts. Other than that, I think that's everything. Um, we will see you Wednesday. Lawson, if you want to take us out, you can.
nice. And I appreciate you giving me permission for New Leaf
No,
News and
no problem.
Legends. You said no problem?
That's
Appreciate
no
it.
problem.
For New
Yeah.
Leaf News and Legends Clubhouse, I'm Lawson Turner, and that right there is Bobby Kaboose. We will see you, beautiful people, Wednesday afternoon at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, we hope you enjoy your Monday and Tuesday, and we'll be back Wednesday. Until next time, peace.